All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're returning back to the Delphi case. We're going to listen to the stories going around. Now, this is a gentleman that had a YouTube channel back in the day, uh, The Art of Deduction. Uh, and I think he changed his name. I didn't know. I thought he left YouTube, but people said no. Well, with all this stuff that just went down with Captain Howdy, I think his name was. Supposedly he was at battle again with somebody on YouTube or whatever, and they're yada yada. But we're gonna watch this guy because he's gonna tell a story about what he found, what he is going through. Uh, so let's just watch a little bit of it and let's see what's going on. Hello, Miss Debbie Fox. How are you doing tonight? You doing okay? I know this is all a lot for us to take in. It really is. It's just so stressful on us in America. Yeah, it really is. But we're gonna take a look at it because it's just gone crazy. Yeah, and when the White House is coming down, I mean, what is going on out there in India? It's just witches and demons and goblins and goblins and a bunch of stuff. You don't want none of it. You don't want to watch it, Mr. Trump. But I'm gonna fill you in, sir. So the whole case starts. There's leak. I do believe there was leaks in the case. Probably about a year, 2 years maybe into the case, right? About 2019, 20, somewhere around there, 2020. Leaks started popping up, of how do these people know that when it was never released from the police? And later, 8 years later, we find out that information was stolen out of the defense office, yada 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 yada. Well, this guy here, I do believe his name is Frank. Some of us nicknamed him the Crazy Dutchman, right? But let's take a listen and see here. Yes, Debbie, it's cold. You need to get your heating pad out, your new blanket, cuddle up on the couch, woman, and let's begin this story. And this is his story. It's no one else's, it's his.
Uh, people that have been following this case might have more a context of what is going on here. We know that is fine. I'm gonna do my utter best to explain what exactly happened, why I'm telling the story, and see, this is not a pity vote. I'm not explaining what I'm gonna explain because of people believe in me, or not only believe in me, what they think of me. Because to be honest, I could not give a rat's ass what people think about me. But I do think that the entire story, why I did certain actions, is really important. And it's not going to be an apology. And I hope with the story that I'm going to tell is that you guys understand why I did what I did. You can have your own opinion, but the story that I'm going to tell you, there's no opinion that it matters anymore. And I'm not saying that you need to believe me, but that is how it happened. And that is why I did what I did. Now you could argue, we all could argue that releasing crime scene images of two murder girls, is not correct. But if that action needed to be done in order for a jury pool not to be poisoned, let alone of grifters not talking about it anymore, then I'm saying that I did a pretty good job, really good job on doing such a thing. Because they were looking for a scapegoat. Because that is what happened. And if I needed to be an example of that, and so it'd be. Because the fact remains is that if I were to have done it for clicks and views, then I would have got those clicks and views.
Well, Brittany,
But not even 120 people saw it. And I know that
if you're new to the case, uh, Richard Allen, uh, Richard Allen went to the police and told them he was there that day. He was the guy on the bridge, uh, and the madness started there, right? The madness started there. But if Richard Allen wouldn't have done anything and said anything, do you think maybe anybody, if he would have never done anything, if he would have never changed his height on his license, on his fishing's license, if he never would have called the police, I do believe we will still be looking for Bridge Guy because you didn't have a clear photo of him when they first released it, and then you had Greeno come out and say that uh, he released stuff of it was his footage or something that he did or something that was part of his footage that he was doing for Delphi. You had all this stuff. It was crazy. It was just unbelievable in the beginning of the case. But let's continue to listen to Frank. I do believe his name is Art of Deduction, but he changed his channel to Let's Be Frank. I think I posted it in chat, and I'll post it in my description. And I've been in this chat before, but that was a long time ago when he was the Art of Deduction. I think it was. Uh, so let's go ahead and check it out and see. We don't know really the whole thing, Brittany, because there was things going on in Delphi, Indiana, before the girls were killed. That played a part of it. Uh, and after they got Keegan Klein, that opened up the case even more. People's devices, computers started getting taken away. They were questioned, yada, yada, yada. So it opened up into a big thing, which we all knew there was many involved. They might not have been there, but it was a, there's only so many. It's a small town in Delphi. It's like this town. It's a small town. Not too much. Only one real bar in town. Uh, so let's check it out here and see what's going on. But I'm going to tell you right now, this kid needs a hospital. No joke. That kid needs a hospital. He's turning yellow. He needs a hospital. I don't know why he don't have it. Why he ain't in the hospital. He needs help. And I'm not saying it to be mean. I'm saying that he's getting gaunt. He's jaundiced. His skin looks like it's turning yellow. Let's let's continue with this and watch. And the kid's a smart kid. He's cocky. He's a cocky kid. Let's continue.
there were people in there that they were heavily following me. The exact actions what I did, because I waged war on the people that released those. Now you have to question if you have been following me since this case as the reason why I did what I did. Because do you think that those people that want to scold me Do you think that they give me a chance to explain myself? So I'm sitting here before you today
We'll let you explain, dude.
to
Go ahead.
explain how I got those images, the story before them, why I sent them to family members. And trust me, I do not need your pity vote because I'm not going to apologize. But the thing is I needed to do this because today something snapped at me. And I never cry. I never cry in a live stream whatsoever. But today hurt me. And you know why? It's because people keep wanting explanations. But the issue is that it's so extremely complex.
All right, now for you folks that are new here, if you're asking what did he do, he sent crime scene photos to the family member, Becky, of the girls, which these crime scene photos other YouTubers had possession of. And I don't know if they were selling them or what they were doing for information or photos of the murder scene of the girls. So he tracked them down, supposedly, or he got them from somebody and then let the family members, because he claimed that he was working for the family. He was working, the family told him he could use, excuse me, their name, supposedly, that he was a psychiatrist. He worked with people or something like that and mental illness and stuff like that. And he had friends, they were good on the computer and they investigate and they do all this stuff. Well, he supposedly tracked down, if I'm not mistaken, the photo somehow, or someone gave them to him or something, and then he turned them into. Now, what photos he's talking about, I have no idea. The only photos I seen of the crime scene were the ones uh, that there was no bodies in. They showed the crime scene area, but there was no bodies, and that was shown on YouTube. But I went back and looked, uh, and he did show the crime scene photos on YouTube, but they were pixelated or whatever, like blurred out photo op where you really couldn't see anything. And he said, "Here's the photos of the girls," and he showed them. All right, but you couldn't see anything really, because it was all blurry and everything, so you really couldn't see anything. So, and that's how that started, right? Well, then the war started, right? Everybody, what are you talking about? And he's saying these people were all, which we knew when they started talking about the crime scene. Everyone like, what are you talking about? Carvings and sticks and carvings on stuff and on trees and everything. The hell are you talking about? Everyone was, asking questions. Where are these guys getting this information? When the police never released it, right? They never released that yet. They never released about any sticks or carvings or the bodies were mutilated and carved up and penetrated with sticks. That was a couple of these YouTubers that were talking about that. And they were all buddies, man. No, you can't pull the wool all over millions of people's eyes, right? It was a very crazy situation. And that's why people were questioning: Are these guys real? Are these guys bounty hunters? Are they police? Are they investigators? Are they, what they were claiming? Are they lawyers? We want to know: Are they really what they say they are, or is it acting? You know, if it's acting, then put on your channel. It's a movie channel, and you're acting or whatever. But they claimed that they were affiliated with the government. Uh, yeah, it was kind of mind blowing. What? How can you be affiliated with the government and you got arrest records and you're wanted for certain stuff and longer than both of our arms. How are you affiliated with something like that? I mean, a lot of people were shocked. Let's continue to listen to uh, Art of Deduction.
that I probably need a fucking half a day to tell it. So I guess I should just begin. I had my old podcast back in, what was it, 2022? During that winter period, I made my own YouTube, and that's how things kind of developed.
I hate to interrupt, folks, but I have a question for you folks. Is it his lighting, or is he starting to turn, his skin starting to turn a yellowish color? And this is a serious situation, folks. So is it his lighting, or is this kid in serious trouble? He is a known big drinker, and I'm talking a big drinker. He's been drunk many a times on his podcast, and he has cried before, other than what is going on. The kid's a wild one, right? But is it just me? Can anyone out there that is watching this, is this kid starting to go jaundice with his liver, or is it just his lighting? If it's not, somebody get a hold of whoever is his friend, get a hold of this, or maybe he's got handlers. I don't know. The women go crazy. Maybe he's got handlers, but he needs to go and get checked out. Unless it's the lighting. Unless it's the lighting. Is anyone else seeing it? I just want to know. Leave a comment if you are, because we're not into taking lives, right? We're trying to prolong lives.
And I've been immediately following the Delphi case. Don't ask me how. I think Reddit or something like that. And that's how I got to follow that case. So it was quite a newbie. The people on YouTube did not feel right. They really did not. That's why I created my own podcast. They didn't feel right because their interviewing style is something that I would have done different. And not only that, just the sheer brazenness of
Well,
misinformation
Miss
just because
Brittany
of clicks
Keegan did boot
and the money that they
clean
made.
out of town and went to Vegas right after
Now,
he got
mind
in
me,
prison, by the way.
I got monetized on my first channel, and sure, the money makes you help to get around, but it's not a luxury because I invested every single bit of it into into my channel. Anyways, I interviewed David Williams, one of the guys that was in the search team, and people made fun of him. People made fun of him just for appearing. They even accused him. Well, I interviewed the guy, and it was the best goddamn interview that I ever did. Because that guy said so much information that gave us an insight on how the police investigation in Delphi happened. Or not on okay, that's a lie. Let me recant that. Not the how the search happened. And it was extremely fascinating. And to be honest, not a lot of people in Delphi or who were covering it, like the bigger channels, they didn't give a shit. But I had one guy
Not
on my
this
channel.
channel,
His
baby.
name
We were hot on their
is
asses
George
from day
Nye.
one.
He also goes by the channel name Ruckus. He
Ah,
was extremely
crazy.
invested in this
The
case.
crazy Frenchman, Ruckus. He's
If I'm
known
saying
all over.
extreme, heavily. So he became my co host for a while. Me and George, we kind of were a good duo, but something fell off. because I felt that he stabbed me in the back because I'm not American. You would think it's really pity, but I'm pretty sure that I can read people all, and I was right,
No, you're not an
because that is what he
American,
is, a
dude.
backstabber.
But you are in a country that is a ally, the
And
Netherlands.
I worked day and night to get my channel growing and get it monetized. And you know what? I wouldn't say that it's a deserving thing that I think that I'm better than anyone else, because it's not. I was really, really proud that my channel got monetized. Because you might think that I'm arrogant, but my self esteem is a
No,
sack of shit.
not at
But I
all.
can pretty much mask it because I've been through so much, folks, that I simply do not care. So, like I said, I do not need your pity vote. I really don't. And you could argue that that is the reason why I don't care about those girls, but I do care, because that is where I get my thrive out of, is helping people. Meanwhile, talking present now, I started my own organization on the dedication to help people. But this case tends to always bite me in the ass, and on a royal level. But anyways, so keep in mind the name George Nye, or Ruckus,
Interesting.
because something fell off. We kind of parted ways. Well, in fact, Idaho 4 happened. Focused a lot on that, and I booted him. I booted him out because he was being an obnoxious sack of shit. And he took a lot of members with him, not only from the Delphi community, but also from the Idaho community. And I guess it is what it is. You know, I will always present a style to you that not all people like. I'm gonna be blunt. I'm gonna tell you to fuck off, and I will do it in such a manner that it's not constructive criticism. Because I will do it in such a manner that's either satire that makes fun of you, or with hard facts. Because if you have the goddamn balls to have an argument, then you will come up, and I will invite you every single time on to have that argument.
Wow. You know, sometimes you got to know when to hold them, and sometimes you got to know when to fold them. So, yeah, yeah. Well, hopefully he quit drinking, uh, quit trespassing on people, get rid of that dang tattoo, that dang Illuminatus. Now they're all saying Illuminati stuff and everything like that with them and everything. Well, you can't walk. I mean, come on, it's all over the YouTube with this stuff. The Illuminati, the signs, the tattoos, the markings. I mean, what are we doing here? If it ain't real, why is this stuff even on YouTube? Why are the scientists even saying, why are these professional guys saying, oh, no, 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 no. Right? You don't want to mess with these guys. I'm like, what the heck are you talking about? Right? What are you threatening the United States military not to mess with these guys? Trump will blow these guys out of the water. But they insist, oh, no, 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 no. You can't go. These guys got, what are we doing, man? Is these the dudes that are crippling me with the voodoo and witchery and sorcery? I mean, a lot of people are asking questions. What the heck are we dealing with here? Be honest with us. Come out and tell us, what are we dealing with? Don't be saying, oh, no, that's Johnny's pain. Johnny's went, no, no, no. Johnny went to the hospital. Johnny got an operation. Johnny ain't turning yellow. Johnny, I don't drink. I don't do that shit, man. No. No, we ain't doing that. No, we ain't taking none of Ernie Shell stuff either, man. We're telling these people. We we came out and told these people, you're dabbling with stuff and you're gonna pay the price. And wouldn't you know it, I'm all over YouTube watching these tarot card readers. These people covered in this stuff, markings and all kinds of stuff, and their world is upside down. Now you tell me what's going on. I watched this one little lady that was a tarot reader, and her whole life turned upside down. She said she's crapping blood and doing all stuff moving in the house. Well, you conjured up something. You let something in. And for all we know, the dang thing you watch the channel and it'll jump onto you and attack you or whatever. We don't know what these people are into behind closed doors. We don't know. Portholes and illuminuminis, tattoos, and oh, good God, I grew up around people my whole life with tattoos. 50 some years. Now you're going to tell me it was all, it's not just body art? I mean, what the heck what have they been doing to us? I have no idea. But let's continue to watch this dude and see what's going on. I mean, I'm interested in it, because he was in their little group, broke away, right? Well, was he in their group or was he just an investigator by a public person? He could have been for the family, and they attacked him. So in retaliation, he attacked. I don't know. Maybe, who knows? Yes, I
But
miss
within
Heaven.
Delphi
I know he looks
was
like a Heaven, and not
a
in
small
a
group
good
of
way.
people that all had separate channels and they all intermingled. They all had contact with each other. And when the information came out that those Delphi images were released, that was the exact group that I was looking for. I targeted them, I was vicious, and I fucking destroyed the shit out of that community.
So he's saying he destroyed
And the
the
reason for
Delphi
that is
community.
really simple because they were looking for those images and they got them. It didn't happen by accident. It happened deliberately because they were looking for it. They had an opportunity and they exploited it. Guys, you have to keep in mind is that a man shot himself because of this. He's leaving behind his children and his wife.
Uh, Correction, 3 people died. 3 people, 2 cops, this guy, and then they also blamed Delphi on the with Hoosier dying, Cat Michaels or whatever Williams or whatever his name was, Bruiser the Cruiser, and you might as well throw in Dick the Bruiser and Bob the Crusher because what are we seeing here? Are these people? What did they do? They must have done something very bad, ladies and gentlemen. Their whole world is turning upside down, and it ain't even begun. Ain't even begun. Right? When as soon as they mention witches and demons and secret society shit and all that, our airs went up. Boop. We got terrorists right within our borders. Get a hold of Buff and the kid. We got work to do in America. Right? So let's continue because the whole world is about done with this Delphi. So let's continue to listen because it drove me nuts.
But that doesn't matter, apparently, to anyone. What mattered to me. So I sought contact with somebody that knew this gentleman,
Well, he might be Miss Debbie.
and that was
You
that
might be
was
correct about
after
that.
that I had contact with Mark. For the people who do not know who Mark is, Mark Cohen is the proclaimed Delphi leaker. He lives in a different state, and he was the one that allegedly caused that image to leak. Now, I had a lot of issue with that because this gentleman, Mark Cohen, he was on a podcast with Rick Snay, which is also one of Delphi's content creators. Remember that in the group that I was talking about?
Rick Snay,
Now, this
infamous
guy was
Richard
kind of
Dreyfuss. He looks like
an
Richard
exploit.
Dreyfuss.
He's kind of Thomas the Train, but then on ADHD. And this guy cannot shut his mouth. And he was talking that he got those images. So I targeted him. I wanted a response from him. So I made up a lot of claims and targeted him. And you know what? It worked. Because I know my psychology. I know what makes people tick. And I made his life a miserable hell. Because if somebody should have not gotten those images, it was him. And it got into his hands. And then we all wonder why those lawyers were removed. Because it was done deliberately.
Bingo was
They
his
almost
name.
wanted to let a military man get the blame. And that's why he killed himself, because that was the most honorable way. And he did participate in it. It's questioned
One of my boys.
if he would
You
I.
drove one of my boys.
There's the most likely reason that he would have been
You're
court
crazy,
martialed.
huh? Okay.
But it's not his fault. Now, Rick Snay was one of the first guys that got him, right? That Mark Robert Cohen was already in Snay's panel, I think, in April. Yeah, it was in April. That wasn't even when those images were released. So Mark was also involved with some other shit on Reddit and on Facebook with a fake account named Leaker, and they would leak information that wasn't that exculpatory or that known, I guess, but it had to do with a sheriff that ran for elect, and that is where he got information. And then he claimed in April that that entire account that he made up was fake. Or not fake, he was trying to accuse somebody that apparently it was not. I think it was Matt Sullivan. Now, this guy coincidentally gets in contact with another individual. So
All right. So Matt Sullivan was a suspect. And the reason Matt Sullivan was a suspect because he fit the description of what the witnesses put out later on once the sketches came out. And also, he looked like at that time Brad Holder, which Brad Holder looked like him similarly, which they both look like Bridge Guy, right? So they were suspects, even though everyone was saying, "Oh, that's bull crap." And there was another guy, Sullivan, that worked at the plant out there. There was two Sullivans, right? The other guy worked at the plant chopping chicken or whatever, where they said a semi driver was waiting to get loaded and walked across the street to the bridge, committed the murders, jumped back in his semi, and drove off. Okay, well, there was another guy that was working there that was a pedo. Just got out of prison, was working there. Sullivan, I think his name, or Dullivan, or De Niro, or something like that. I'm not sure. One of them names. But he also looked like Bridge Guy. So all these guys were suspects. whether they liked it or not, because people said they looked like Bridge Guy, right? Plus, they were hanging out with people that were suspects already, right? That was kind of crazy, wasn't it? It was crazy. It was a crazy time. Let's continue.
About Kyle Fortson, the guy that killed himself. And coincidentally, he got those images because there's no more luck than that, right? It's not a coincidence. Or at least that is what your that's what your standard sleuth would think. But nobody was talking about it. Everybody was just so shocked that those images got out. Now I learned that Mark had contact with my previous co-host, and I also learned that there was a donation panel going on GoFundMe where donations were being made for Make a Wish. Now I can assure you that Make a Wish will sponsor literally every single thing that you have. And this guy claims that he had two jobs, but apparently the cost for his daughter's surgery was too much. And I can tell you, I saw pictures for that short amount of time. There didn't seem too much going on with his daughter. But then again, I'm not an expert, I guess. But that Make a Wish was for a Disney trip to Orlando, Florida, and all these names that gave this individual gave Mark money were all individuals that were extremely questionable. Because not sure what kind of money was being paid again. I think $500 by a guy that killed himself. And Ruckus told me they all donated. Now, isn't it kind of interesting that all those people, in hindsight, that were in that group that donated to him, were all bunched together? Not only that, not only bunched together, the guy visited Mark in Orlando, Florida. And Mark told me, if you want to believe him because he's a notorious liar,
Florida, the
that he didn't give
capital of
anything.
pedoism.
But on the
It's
contrary,
all coming together, right?
that cannot be true. That cannot be feasible and that cannot be true. Because I got those images and I was saying images as in plural. Because before the initial Frank's hearing was going to be, I think that was on the, fuck my life, I can't remember. Or the ruling on a Frank's hearing. That was it. That was the second wave. The first wave were all those other idiots, like Greeno, Murder Sheet, and Rick Snay. Those were the three preliminary ones. Now, Quint, you would
Now, is he saying, is there anybody out there, is he saying that them were the three guys that had the photos of the crime scenes? Is there anybody out there that can answer? Is that what he's saying, that them were the three guys that had the crime scene photos? Now, were them guys lying? I don't know. Why would you lie about that? Right? That you had them, but you really didn't. But they told people they had them. It's almost like, you know, two girls getting killed, and you telling people, "Well, I was there at the time of the murders. I was in that area." Or you had something to do with the case or something. Come on, that's kind of crazy, dudes. Come on. And why would you do that? Well, probably to play psychological mind games or corrupt the case or lead you away from something else. It's kind of crazy if you ask me, right? Kind of crazy if you ask me. But we know that there was others that had it. Why? Because there was others saying they received stuff, but what can we get in trouble? Oh yeah, it's an ongoing case. It's stolen evidence. You know, they said it was stolen. It was some tactic to leak out to let people. What kind of tactic is obstruction of justice? I'm telling you, that's why my people, the American people, can't get a fair trial in this world. It's just there's no way. Not when everything's corrupt, everything's leaked. So it's just horrible. Witchery and sorcery. Someone's gonna really pay for this in Indiana. Let's continue.
I think it's a coincidence that Mark would sent them to murder sheet because of legal advice. Well, let me tell you that if you see Mark's history, is that the murder sheet already got contacted by Mark once, and that was because he maintained false information on a quote unquote leak that was based on a court well, not even on a court document, that were based on a legal process of two chicks wanting to sue uh, the Carroll County Police because of that sheriff that didn't get elected. Because this sheriff wanted to release a lot of information on Delphi because of lack of, I guess, coefficient police work, but he lost. And they think it was corrupt. And later on, the guy got a settlement because he was told to shut the fuck up and that he wasn't the police officer that he needed to be. So he brought it online. So he brought also in the toxicity in a lot of this case. Now, with all that information, is how I went into this entire ordeal. I thought it was strange and it couldn't be a coincidence. Not a single chance in the world that the distribution of these images were based on these three individuals. There's no way. How can you have one individual get in contact with multiple people and those are the ones that got it? What is the purpose of that? That's not what we were being told, is it? We're still being told that Mitch Westerman did it. One of the defense counsel, their prodigies, I guess, and that he took the images, that photo, they took a photo out of it. And that is the deception that they want you to believe. Because the fact is that I have several sources who have different variants of those images, and I knew exactly which ones came from where. Because the first one that I got was a partial with a red circle on it, claiming that it had a bullet in it or a bullet casing. I guess it isn't a bullet. A bullet. There we go. And it was way different than the ones that I got. So that is the first one that I had. And then later on, I actually got the initial images. But hold on, I digress. Hold on.
Yeah, you best find out where this kid lives, what country, what state, whatever. But if you know that dude, that this Frank guy, you better get a hold of his people. Because he ain't doing good. He ain't doing good. I don't know about you people, but I don't think he looks too good. He needs to quit that drinking. He needs to get on some. If he can't get to a doctor and his people are listening, his handlers or whatever, he needs ginger ale, vitamin D. The kid needs to get in some sun. And the way he drinks alcohol, because that's how they are in Netherlands and in Ireland the same way. And when I was younger, I was proud of my heritage. Right? That's what you did. You're Irish, German, English. You what do? You drink like a fish. Thank God Almighty, King of Kings. I quit drinking a long time ago, and I like I said, all glory goes to God Almighty, King of Kings. But he don't look good, folks. I don't know. And one of my mods said he don't. He looks high or effed up or not in a good way. I don't think he's on drugs. Not unless he's on painkillers or something. Maybe something's wrong with him. I feel sorry. I've been there. A deathbed is no place to be. When you got when you're opened up like a can and you got tubes coming out of you and you yeah, it's not good, man. I'm not trying to make fun of no one, but I'm telling you, I've been there. It's not fun. It's very cold and very lonely. I mean, maybe it's my TV, but I don't know. Maybe it's his lighting, but he looks gaunt. Uh, I don't know. He's had better days. I can tell you that.
I talk to a lot of people, especially in this matter. I mean, but I talked to a lot of people because I wanted to know the exact source. I wanted to know if my gut feeling was right. So, like I said, I called out Snake multiple times, and I did it because he was an easy target.
What? Now the kid's taking people out. He was an easy target. What the heck is going on? Taking
And
people
then
out.
all hell broke loose. There was no turning back anymore because I committed myself 100% to expose every single bit of it. I mean, mind maps for days, folks, on every single individual that was talking about them. Because if you did not have them, then how the fuck could you explain what you saw? And it was not a jealousy thing because, to be honest, I did not care for having them or not. You could argue that, I know. Now, the thing that really ticked me off during that entire endeavor while I was all attacking all these people is that there was never really a good argument made as for why people would defend back then a potential double child killer. Totally phased me. That only fueled me. Because we talk of what was morally right and morally wrong. You want to scold me because of images? Well, those people go outside of the courtroom with a goddamn banner and protecting a child murderer. And those channels still have more bigger following than me. They still believe in the appellate process, that nothing was done, that nothing was done right. Because that is apparently how the prosecution works, right? They only lie. They're only corrupt. They must have bad intent. Because that is what advocating is all about, right? Blaming the other people and especially blaming the family members. Well, they didn't have anything to do with anything. They lost their loved ones. And here we are because they're an easy victim, right? Because those are the people that get the most attention.
Well, uh, art of deduction. I don't think they're uh, the. Maybe I'm mishearing what he's saying. Yes, people wanted to look into the family. We can't take any of this case serious anymore. We went from the beginning of this case of people mentioning numerous vehicles at the crime scene, why it was happening, and they said you're delusional. You have pareidolia. There was a couple of them saying that. It all disappeared. You didn't see nobody anymore talking about the white camper or white van or the black truck with all the stickers all over it with the camper on the back of it. Uh, Numerous vehicles, the purple PT Cruiser, the Comet, numerous stuff going on. It all disappeared. Boom. No, there was nothing. Right. And now here we are, 8 years later. And what did Richard Allen say? He was spooked by a white van that was coming down the road. Now, can we believe Richard Allen? I don't know. He had 8 years to watch the case. He had 8 years to watch the case. So there must have been something that they had because they would have said, oh, he's saying there was a white van there. Well, let's replay back on that in the beginning of this case. There was a whole bunch of people that said there was a bunch of vehicles there. Right? That was out on YouTube, but it disappeared after a year or two or three. That was all a bunch of crap, right? We all had paradorma. People were saying, well, there was witnesses saying there was vehicles out there, and I think one guy showed a photo of a van that they claimed was either parked or coming underneath the bridge on that rocky road. Excuse me. And here we come back around. Now, that's what Richard Allen's saying. But can we believe Richard Allen? Because, like I said, Richard Allen had 8 years to watch the case. No one knew who he was. He was in our chats. He was watching everything. He ain't no idiot, right? He thought he was clear. He was covered, right? He thought he was clear. Hey, he went to the police. He told them he was there that day. They never came back, reported him, checked up on it. Richard Allen didn't have no reason to run. He was in the clear, right? 5 years go by, no one's questioning him, nothing. Uh, I mean, he called the police, told them he was there that day. If he didn't do that, my question is would we have Bridge Guy if he is even Bridge Guy? They must have had something more than his confession. If it was even real, he must have known something. Maybe, possibly, it was what brand the cigarette butt was, because years and years and years after the it came out that there was a cigarette butt found at the crime scene. No one knew though until recently, a couple years ago or whatever. Maybe he was the only one that knew what cigarette butt it was, what brand. Possibly. They could have had DNA from that. Possibly. It's possible. All right, let's continue. We're almost done.
Anyways, Ruckus went to Orlando, Florida, all the way from his home in Homosassa to meet with Mark.
What?
And he told me myself, and he told me myself that happened. And he was acting like a fucking slick guy and saying, "Oh yeah, I got information that you don't have." I'm like, "Yeah, I bet you do." And that's honestly not a lie. Not a single fucking lie about that. But try to prove something if you don't have any proof of it, but you know that it is true. So, I was with my ex girlfriend and Mrs. Dictator wanted her entire house painted, so I did because I don't want to seem like a lazy fuck. And I listened to every single conversation that Frank Meister had or Ruckus had came together a lot. So I listened to literally everything and I connected all the dates and it made so much sense. Because what you thought was true becomes a reality now. And it wasn't one, it was not two. Because nobody from the prosecution that has a goddamn fucking YouTube channel would ever say to fucking Nick Mulliland that they got them from the defense. But before that, we got another leak too.
Okay, real fast. I want to bring up what people are. I don't know if it's. Am I seeing it or not? Is it an eye on his hand? But this is the whole thing that we're talking about Illuminati, Luminist, whatever it is, of certain signals, certain things that they're trying to connect. Oh man, I'm getting attacked by something by just talking about it. So I think we do know it's real. But that's what everybody is talking about now. What are we dealing with? Is this something you got to go back to biblical days to fight, or what? I'm not sure. But these are the things that some of these guys that are professionals now, they started a whole new thing just to read people's tattoos, a whole branch, I think, of government or something. So there must be something to what these people are talking about. Now, I don't know if this dude is or whatever. You know, some of these people, they're like gangs. A lot of these guys are not in gangs, but they get these tattoos, and people, they're gang tattoos. And these gangs get pissed off because these guys ain't in these gangs, but yet they're flying their tattoos. And they get very pissed off. They get very pissed off when they find out you're not a gang member, but yet you got gang tattoos and stuff. So I'm not sure. I can't talk too more about it because I felt like just something stabbed me in the side or something. But let's carry on.
We got another leak involving the exact same fucking guy that got those crime scene images. But nah, It's not social engineering, right? It's not a coincidence. Not at all. Please. People kept talking about this case so much that well, I kind of lost interest because I was busy with Idaho during that time, which was prior to this. That I didn't cover this case that often after that. I did talk to Anna, and she's an extremely lovely lady. And that's why I need to cry in the last episode. As you know, because I gave up something that should not have done, and that was blocking her. Because if you think that I sent the image to Anna, that's not true. I sent it to Becky. And you can find me a dick for that, but we'll come to that in a few. The agonizing hatred that I had for these people was so extremely real and on such a high level is that I was motivated every single day to get rid of these people. And I did not care. I did not care who you were, how much you hated me. I just knew that they saw them and they were not honest about it. They made up an entire second wave of crime scene images, image distribution just to justify that they got them. And I think it's sick because those are the people that the most of the Delphi community adores that think that they are right. And it sickens me. Now we also have a guy named Crime Knight and Bob Mata, the Delphi Knot or the Unraveling. All those people, all those people I went for a goddamn good reason. Because they were also talking about it, but then the prosecution side were making fun of them because they are the ones that actually got the images, and they were blaming each other back and forth. And we know now, thanks to an insider that we have, is that the images were shared on. Amy, help me on this one. Was it Paradox? It's kind of like a Snapchat link for an image, and everybody.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. That's just what we suspected. Somebody knew something they shouldn't have known. Very interesting, right? Now, what was the thing? How many of them had the photos? Oh, there was a lot of them. There was a lot of them, probably, including this guy right here that we are looking at right now in front of your face. He even admitted he had the photos too. He's the one that sold them, or not sold them, but sent them. Excuse me. Excuse me. Uh, to the family, right? Because he was helping the family. He told everyone he was hired by the family, and he actually knew the Becky and the family, just like Greeno admitted that he was real good friends with the family, dated Becky or something like that, or had a kid with the wife or whatever. or the daughter of, or the mother of one of the girls. So everyone was just shocked. Whoa, what is going on here, man? But this unfolded years after the girls were, a couple years after the girls were killed, 3 years or something like that, 4 years. Uh, that all this came out, right? They were all friends, and they were all yada 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 yada. Uh, I think Reno even talked about he was being initiated into some club or something, or they wanted to initiate him or something. I'm not sure. That's just crazy, man. This is just unreal. I mean, it's not shocking because we pretty much knew it and been saying it on this channel. You know, it's only by the grace of God, that we got it somewhat right.
Everybody saw it. Everybody that clicked that link saw it. So there's enough proof to validate that, because that is where the shit show started. There was not a second wave. There was not a, or there wasn't a first wave. There wasn't a second wave. It got shared into a Discord. Yeah, some guy from Michigan apparently had his own engineering shizzle going on, but he's also getting divorced.
All right. So this Discord, I get a lot of people asking me to go. Why don't you go on Discord? Well, I thought Discord was for gamers. That's where the kids go to play games on Discord or whatever it is. That's what I thought. But now there's people actually saying they have you can go. It's like YouTube. But it's used by gamers because they play games on it or something like that, or Nintendo or Atari or whatever these games are, PlayStation and stuff like that. Uh, and he's saying that's where these photos, Snapchat or photos or whatever it was, the photos were leaked to a Snapchat room or something like that, or Discord or something. Let's continue.
So yeah, might be tricky, you know. Where are you gonna explain to your wife that where all your money went? Also, one of the donated from Mark. Just keep that in mind, because that's kind of a maleficent construct, isn't it? That the defense team would use prosecution side YouTubers to give those images. And how do I know?
Am I hearing this right? Is anyone out there in my chat? Am I hearing what he's saying is right? That defense, or it wasn't defense, it was, this is, this is, this is unreal.
Know that? Because let me tell you, Ruckus likes to steal shit. He did it with my David interview. He did his own. I introduced him to Nui Ramos, the guy that was in jail with Keegan Klein. He didn't figure out that shit by himself. So he interviewed him. I know he would all due respect, my man, but I couldn't care less about you. You're really not that relevant. But I am the one that exposed you. And after that, I if things were in the perfect world, me and Ruckus would we would write and sing together, not in a literal sense, but in a figurative sense. Because he isn't that bad. He's just extremely stupid, and especially if he gets attention, because that's what he likes.
Interesting.
And he's the one that gave me the initial first image of the partial with that red circle, and he also gave me two of the sketches. Now he kept
Interesting.
playing this game on saying that he had the information, and I can tell you, with the people that I did research with, that I made my entire map, I was 100% confident that it came from him because I know him. He's a sleaze
Interesting.
bag. That's what he is. It's nothing to do with jealousy. The guy is fucking 75 years old and lives in goddamn Florida. He does not pose a threat to me because if he wants to have members that are based on his own opinion and they want to kiss his goddamn ass, because that is definitely what happened, and that is why people protect him so much, because he likes to troll people. He likes to eliminate people just to get his way, and that never happened to me.
Interesting.
So for all the people on, I guess the Delphi not, still very much disagree, but I guess I was wrong to accuse you guys because you guys were right in the end. You you guys said that it was from the prosecution side. And to be honest, I kind of had that feeling, but you guys were extremely wrong on protesting in front of a goddamn court building. So it was easy to take more the prosecution side than standing there with your fucking billboards saying that Judge Gold needs to go. She needs to recuse herself because, yeah, letting a child murderer go is really correct and moral, right? Because, yeah, it's definitely your civil rights, then you might as well fucking hug a goddamn fucking tree or go on a
That reminds me, Mr. Trump, I would like these people that dirtied up my courtyard in Indiana to please be sanctioned to come back and rake the leaves up and clean up all the mess that they did. No respect anymore for anything, for we the people in our courts or whatever. Uh, but note to memory. Uh, Next time you people picket on our property, can you please pick up your mess and at least rake up some leaves? I remember the court day. There was leaves out there. Leaves out there. I mean, they camped out. They camped out in front of the courthouse the whole night. At least they could have raked the front yard. I mean, we could have kicked them off with a problem. Get, go on, get. But we didn't. We let them sit out there. They could at least. My apologies, Delphi. I thought these people would at least do some work. But after what we're finding out, well, they might be in yellow. They might be in orange suits, raking it. We're not sure yet. We're not sure. We're not sure yet. We're wondering.
boat and save whales. So it's kind of double sided. But I knew that you guys were right, that it came from the defense team to the prosecution, not to the prosecution to the people that wanted the prosecution. No, it's vice versa. And to be honest, you would think it's an ironclad plan because nobody would think that. Because that's how it really works. So, anyways, I wrote Mark an email
I
on
don't
his
know about that,
GoFundMe.
folks. I
I
don't
was
know
like,
if
dude,
that's
you
true.
better talk to me before I expose the living shit out of you. And I was going to do that anyways, but we will talk about that in a bit. And he responded, not via himself, but via Ruckus, and it was via Discord. And that's how I got in contact with Mark. And Mark thought that he could manipulate his ways against me, and I played him like a goddamn flute. Because you know what's
Like a
interesting?
skin
The guy
flute.
that killed himself, his name is Robert Kyle
Unreal.
Fulton. And I talked to his sister-in-law, and nobody calls him Rob. And each time he would say that, according to his sister-in-law, nobody would call him Rob. Now you're telling me that a friend like that, that knows you so well and doesn't even mourn your death, you call him Rob all the time? Because that
All right, he must be talking about Howdy. Howdy, what's his name? Captain Howdy, or is that who Mark is, or is that a I don't know who that Captain Howdy dude is. He must be talking about him or whatever. But this is shocking, right? He finds Mark on Discord, which was from Ruckus, and old Frank played him like a skin flute. That is unbelievable. It's unbelievable. It's shocking to me that this is even happening because it's obstruction of justice. And this is why my people in America can't get a fair trial.
was the story that he did it. No, the thing is that Mark is from out of state. He's from Texas and an easy sheep goat. And that is why they let him get the fall, because that's what they paid him to do.
Oh, Mark's from Texas. Oh, Mark's the dude that they're saying took the photos, right? And then spread them amongst everybody. Wow.
So yeah, he went to Florida. Georgia went over there, and it wasn't for cookies. It really wasn't. I know a kind of guy that George is. Like I said, he's a sleazeball. That's what he does. He likes to stab people in the back. And with all the respect, then you have people that I hang out
Debbie saying, I
with
have no
George,
idea what the hell.
like Jinx, Frank Meister, and the rest of the Three Stooges, plus two. And they all cheer each other on. They all cheer each other on. They all appear on each other's chat. Oh, Frank Meister, you're so good. Well, they already had fucking first-hand information on what is going on, and then consider it fucking good journalism. Well, they already had that information. But I guess people just didn't want to believe me because I was going so aggressive after these folks. That is apparently okay that you had a guy in there that looks like a fucking catcher's mitt or fucking I was thinking about the guy from whatchamacallit, the Adams family. I was gonna say Grudge, but
Lurch.
it doesn't matter. Anyways, Frank Meister. He hasn't expunged charges for certain inappropriate behavior, and it got expunged. But just because it's expunged doesn't mean that it's not there. And people did not want to believe me, which is fine. But there was an entire internal investigation in his county because I got those documents because I wasn't supposed to get them.
Wow.
But he has those charges. But let Frank Meister explain why he jumped one individual with five people, because that's a fair fight, right?
Oh, so he's saying Frank Meister jumped somebody with five people and has charges for something. I thought I seen another YouTuber talking about Frank Meister. Uh, Something about sexual charges or something. I'm not sure. Now, I don't know if it's true because I don't pry into other people's lives, right? So I have no idea if these people are telling the truth or not. We can only go by what they're saying and what we've seen on the news and the reaction of people and their past records and yada yada yada. And that must have been the commotion that we were seeing between Frank Meister and these other people saying that he was a pedo and had charges and yada, yada, yada. But they were expunged, meaning he wasn't charged for it. It's still there, like this guy's saying, but it's not showing that he was charged or brought up for charges on it.
And then you're asking me that I am the bad guy, that I get shit on all the time. Sure, let's continue. So I already knew that those images were leaked within that group of people that I just talked about, and they sent it further so it wouldn't point towards them. But nobody made that connection because they're not part of that little cul-de-sac of fucking morons. And those were the people that only covered Delphi. So Sleuth, I might have apologized, might have not have proven that you got them, but buddy, if you listen back, you didn't deny it either. Because that is what the answer that I was looking for. Oh, hold on, how do you call that? Plausible deniability? Or you were actually lying that you did get them. And you're saying to me that what I did wasn't poor taste while you lied to your viewers? Sure. Whatever, bro. And you know what? Nobody could provide any screenshots of the shit that they were saying. But anybody in that group were all making separate accounts of testimony on their lives. They knew exactly what they were gonna say. They knew exactly how it was gonna play out. So I did a lot of work on wanting to get those images. And then all those people said exactly
No,
that
Debbie,
I was looking for those
this is
images.
Frank.
And that must have scared the living shit out of them. Because,
This
I
is a
wasn't
different
looking
Frank.
for them, I already had them. I had them in January. And after that, people were bitching and moaning about, oh, yeah, that Frank dude, he's just looking for those crime scene images of those girls. No, I wasn't looking for them. I was exactly proving a point. Of course, I was looking beforehand as well, because I wanted to know where this motherfucker got those images from, in what context, because he was covering it before. I think like 2 weeks after they got released. I found that extremely weird because they were waiting for it. They were sitting on the fact, on discussing about it. They all wanted to have a scoop. They all pitched in together. But that's not the story that is being told.
I started here all along, baby. We knew it.
Because apparently nobody can prove it. You know why you can't prove it? Because all these people still hang out together. And they can deny everything. Fair. Go ahead. But I know different.
Like I said, they weren't going to leave. They weren't going to let that 300,000 walk out of Delphi. There was no way. We solved the case a long time ago, but there was no way. They were telling everybody was crazy. There was no way they were going to let that 300,000 reward money leave that area. Somebody out of them dudes or them YouTubers, either they cut a deal and they were going to divvy it up or whatever. Who knows? Who knows? I don't know. I'm just saying it's kind of fishy to me. Now, I don't know if anything that these people are saying is true. Uh, Excuse me, I'm sitting here eating Funyuns and having a cup of tea. Let me see what. No, Debbie, this is not Frank Meister. Uh, this is Art of Deduction, Frank. But I think he changed his name now. It's his channel's called Let Me Be Frank. I posted it in chat, and I think I posted it in my description. I haven't seen the dude in a while. I used to stop in his chat and listen to him and everything. Very competent. He's a very uh, he is cocky. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie to these people. He is cocky. He he does go off on women. I've even told him, dude, come on, chill out on the women. They're just women, right? But he's his own man. You can't tell people what to do, right? You just can't. But this is interesting because he's not the only one that knew this. There was a bunch of other people that sat back and watched from the outside. And here's the thing, these people were so indulged on themselves. They thought they were the only ones covering the case. They were declaring themselves top dogs of Delphi coverage and the real investigate, the real reporters, the real people, whatever they do, right? They were there from the beginning, and they're number one coverage on YouTube of the channels or whatever. And he's not lying. There was a bunch of them, and they all were on camera together, and they all it was like a power struggle, right? This is our baby. This is our thing, right? I don't know. And then the talks of the movie were in work, the TV show, uh, you know, Lifetime will probably pick it. I mean, there was all kinds of crazy talk, and that's just what it was, crazy talk, right? Let's keep going here, Debbie. Yeah, I'll show you the other guy, Frank Meister. He's got a crime channel, and that's who everyone's been talking about is Frank Meister. Supposedly had charges or something, but I don't know if that's true, right? And it was in the past. Uh, I don't know if it has anything to do with Delphi, right? Not unless when did this happen? When did he get charged with something? They're not being honest. They're not being. Uh, uh, they're not a. In, I can't find the word right now. They're just not showing us everything. I don't know. Did anyone see that Mr. Elon Musk got a new chainsaw today? Yeah, I was just asking you guys if you've seen that. I'm just wondering. All right, let's continue.
Can I prove it to you? No. Or actually, I can if I have Charles up here. Because Charles will exactly say, because he was in that Discord. Now, people kept lying, saying that didn't have it, and they just trolled you out of your money. And to be honest, I couldn't give a rat's ass because my viewers were extremely going well, and I could make a decent living with the memberships that I had and the donations that I was getting. So, not a single concern for me. Now, there's this guy named Joe.
So what he's saying, Debbie, is anyone that was covering the Delphi case, if this group of people and their followers knew you were covering the case, they would send people into your chat to disrupt it, drive it crazy, or send people on a wild goose chase, right? And that's just crazy, but that's what actually was going on.
Lewis. He's from Australia and uh, most likely mentally impaired.
Joe Lewis. I knew he was
I
going to
think
bring
it's
him
like
up.
a hint of trips. Anyways, this guy was contemplating with defense lawyers, and that's the funny thing is that they didn't tell that particular defense lawyer on how it actually was going, but he already had those images too, because he was also working with or also talking with the people that were talking to the prosecution. Because you know what, nobody wanted in my live stream to have a discussion. Why is that? Because I didn't belong to that little inner group. And I'm not giving myself kudos on an intellectual battle that I wished that I would have with some of these people. It's because they just didn't.
All right, they're talking about, or he's talking about Mighty Joe Young or Mighty Joe uh, Crime Night, right? He's from Australia. Uh, the kid is saying that he's completely crazy. I don't know, but supposedly he was getting charged with threatening to blow up uh, the monument or something like that down there. And people were saying he was a terrorist and he's threatening to blow up the memorial for the girls. And it was just crazy. Like, you got to be kidding me, right? Is the guy making a movie, right? And they're like, no, he's a crime fighter or whatever. And you sure this shit ain't scripted? You know, we were asking people, you know, because that's what YouTube is, entertainment, right? But no, these guys were serious. They were, I'm a double agent for, what? What are you, what are you talking about? How can you be a double agent and you're a suspect in a murder case and your rap sheet, you're a violent offender and all kinds of shit? How is that happening? How is it possible?
But did that matter? Wasn't it obvious? Because I can tell you that I was most likely the number one YouTuber that was talking about Adelphi on a continuous basis, that only had narrative and fucking scrutinized the shit out of people to let them go fucking talk because they were all lying. They knew what the fuck was going on. Because apparently nobody wants to believe that. But they did know because it was so obvious. In all fairness, I'm not perfect. I'm not going to pretend that I'm perfect. Is that I blame some people that I do really apologize for. I can't name one at the moment. But you all are sacks of shit. So that's hence the sarcasm. Just before that is that you all lied. You literally all lied because you all claimed to have not seen those images, did not get the images. But the lady that I got those from was on the contrary. She actually lives in Delphi, got those images by the exact same people that pretended to not have them.
Aha. So all these people had the Delphi photos. Is that what he's saying? And they were actually, he got them from a woman in Delphi that lived in Delphi. And all them dudes lied and did, well, like I said, I think a lot of these YouTube crime channels were just fronts to either keep an eye on what kind of evidence they was going out, or they didn't want us to know something, that some of these guys had charges uh, and might have been suspects in the case. So it's very, very interesting. And is it possible? Yes, it's very possible. Very possible. They were sent to be on YouTube or whatever, uh, just to keep an eye out, keep a watch out. We're not dumb. We know Richard Allen was in chats under different names. We know he was watching everything. Why? Because he was in the clear. He didn't think they'd ever come back. Once he thought about it, there was no way he was going to call the police again. Hey, I called 5 years ago, 6 years ago, and made a report that was me on the bridge. I'm just wondering, you guys want to talk to me, right? I don't think so, folks. I don't know where these people. It's obvious these guys don't know the street. They don't know when somebody is in severe trouble. They're not going to tell you the truth. They're not. He's seen his break. He was gone. He wasn't going to call again. When he did think, he did suspicion, he did think that he was in trouble again. And I do believe that was the night that they recorded him in the bar playing pool. Richard Allen knew that day something was up and they were back onto him. If you see that footage of Richard Allen in the bar, his eyes don't come off of that camera. He's looking right at that camera the whole video. It is freaky. He knew dang well something was up.
So why did I show them? Why did I send them to Becky Patty? Because I know a lot of you want to believe that it was for clicks, it was for beats, it was for sadistic manners. Because most of you do not know that Becky actually gave me a friend request on Facebook, not vice versa. I reach out to a lot of people. A lot of people reach out to me too. And I told Becky exactly what I was doing.
That was the worst thing that family could do, was become friends with these YouTubers. It is freaky to me. To me, it just seems weird that she would become friends with these people with the history they have, the conditions that they were in, the drugs that all the stuff that they were into. And she was becoming friends with these people on Facebook and everything. As an investigation is going on, and this seems kind of weird, folks.
I sent them, and she didn't say thank you, but she didn't see anything. And I did that for the goddamn reason because I told her, I told her what was going on. And there's a difference between saying something and showing proof of what you said. I gave the name of Kathy Clenningen, who gave me it. And that lady was in contact with with a lady named Meow Zedong.
Cat?
Meow Zedong,
Hmm.
when on Ruckus's channel, was also working with what they say or the defense team. Well, if that lady was working with the defense team, then go fucking hide yourself because no fucking case would be solved if that woman was there. That lady thinks that because I'm speaking a Germanic language that I'm apparently a Nazi. I mean, you cannot make that shit up. You don't have to be really intelligent to even fucking understand that does not make any sense whatsoever. I mean, first of all, first of all, is that the Franks hearing was or those Franks documents were already fucking laughable. let alone that people kept using Odinist like a fucking Minecraft mineral. It is simply not a thing. It really isn't. How should I know? Because, I speak a Germanic language and apparently I'm a Viking. Isn't that right, Michael? So, Michael, that I'm talking.
Aha. Vikings. Interesting. Odin's. Interesting. Let's continue.
Talking about is Michael Auersbrook. He's an appellate attorney, and he kind of looks like a one-tooth hillbilly. He tried to suck up to me in Twitter, and I exposed it. Made a 25 page document about it, what was actually going on, because it was already prejudgmental against Judge Cole, and I enjoyed every single second of saying that Michael was wrong, because he can be a pretty ferocious guy. No, I'm kidding. He's not a ferocious guy. He's a fucking sicko. So what he did is he made a lot of fucking comments on Twitter with cartoon characters, Disney cartoon characters with rags in their mouth, because that is not concerning whatsoever. Um, Also, what is not concerning, the guy can't take a fucking goddamn hint when I'm telling him that if he's working with the defense, then he should cancel. He should probably cancel talking to people that would only suit his narrative, which he didn't. And then you have people like Bob Mata and Andrea Burkhart. They were all fucking. They were not even scapegoats. They're too stupid for that. But they all honed in on this entire Delphi theory that what happened is not a big deal, because according to Bob and according to Bradley Rosie, is that they do not care about the crime scene images. You do not care because fucking Baldwin made this entire fucking community that was already intermingled. They made them a whole, because everybody was lying for each other. And then look at criminality. You can say that that lady like figured it all out. Well, she didn't reinvent the wheel because she was fucking in on it. And the fun thing is that I got a free.
Dun, dun, dun. Did he mention a great crime channel, Criminality? I do like her channel. I'm sorry, I do. I do. I'm not gonna lie. She's a good channel. Uh, but and he mentioned uh, Bob Mata, the great lawyer, right? Monday through Friday, the great defense lawyer. Come the weekend, The Edge in a cover band for YouTube. So yeah, this is unbelievable. Uh, were they used as a pawn? Frank is saying no, they're too dumb, and that's I don't think so, but I don't know. Now, once again, we have no idea if anything any of these people are saying is true. Why? Because we don't have the evidence in front of us. See, if we had the evidence, if the people seen the evidence in the courts, the testimonies, the photos, the wounds, then we would have said, oh, well, these guys are lying, right? That didn't happen. And this wasn't what happened. Wait a minute, that didn't happen. This happened, right? But we didn't. And that's why you have so much commotion, so much nut jobs running around, is because the people failed to see the evidence. They were locked out of the court. We have no idea. We weren't allowed to talk about certain people, right? These guys over here, Elvis Fields, Jesse something, Johnny Messer, uh, Brad Holder, uh, uh, there was numerous of them. You can't mention these guys' name in the court. Well, what's going on? What do you mean? But There, people are saying they're suspects and stuff, right? And then the whole world, Indiana went crazy. They were attacking anybody. John, who? Johnny? Ah, no, Elvis. I thought when they said it was Elvis, I'm like, it can't be. Elvis passed away. God rest his soul. But it was Elvis Fields or something, and some other guy said he spit on the bodies and everything. Whoa, whoa, back up. What do you know? For some reason, you weren't allowed to hear anything about that. You can't talk about that, right? Crazy.
2K $300 donation, and everybody thought that I was working with the prosecution. No, that was totally for a different case that I got that donation from. Because you know what? That is what you call a good investigation. If somebody's so appreciative that they actually give you that amount of money. And then again, you're going to take advice or say that things are true for somebody that already believed that Chris Watts was innocent. Give me a fucking break.
The Watts case. That's Miss ATS news domain.
And you know, I'm not looking at chat right now because you know what? Because this is my story. It is not your story. You can believe that I am wrong all that you want. I made a lot of people pissed off, and I'm happy to fucking do so. I pissed off Fig Solves because Fig is a goddamn moron. That's why I released that information in the first place because I knew that people that hated him would use the information because the dumbass claimed that he had contact with the prosecution. So, Fig, next time that you write the court, make sure that it's not the wrong county because you are so sophisticated, aren't you, Mr. Businessman? Anyways, then we have Joe Lewis. Well, Joe is yeah, a rare creature in itself. He lives in Australia, and yeah, there's definitely fluoride in that water that he drinks because I don't believe that somebody can be that non-intelligent. I mean, holy shit! Hey, Dakota, you fucking asshole!
That's him. That's how he talks. Like we're back in the Braveheart
That
movie
guy
and
shouldn't
everything. I
fucking
think I'll
read
kill
the
them all.
newspapers,
I
anyways.
talked to the Lord. He said we'll be okay, but the rest of you, fuck. It's
Then you have
hilarious.
Angela, you have Paul. Who do we have more? That's the Delphi unraveling. Is that Paul kind of wussed out at the end of when was the trial again? December, September, oh November. Oh no, kidding, October. I knew that. Anyways, October, Paul kind of wussed it out and turned sides through the murder sheet because everybody that does that, because the murder sheet kind of well, not kind of, they fucking stole a lot of content what I gave them and made them aware that the Delphi knot was extremely fucking making them look like idiots. Is that they decide to use what I have been screaming for a very long time, is that those people are gnarly nasty and they even threaten your fucking donators. That is what they do. And they make all up these fucking accounts and go on about the same thing because that is what regular adults do, right? Make up new accounts all the time just to harass you. And I popped everything out of the closet, folks. I did not, I did not fucking let that happen. Then you have somebody called Conway Twitty. His actual name is Casey Conwell. I have a good fragment of that one, by the way, but I don't want to be copyrighted, let alone be associated with the fucking moron. It says that because I showed those images that it was a child predator. Well, the thing is that well, first I'm not a child predator, but what Casey is a wife beater, and he broke his wife's back. And the funny thing is that 2 months after I got removed, is that he got arrested for assault charges on exactly that. Because it's kind of a cheap shot, isn't it? Is that if you lose your channel, is that you then talk shit about me? Not when I had my channel, because you wouldn't dare. Because I actually had the cojones to go on your fucking little pity show right there. I fucking explained why I did what I did. So motherfuckers like you would shut up and stop giving a false narrative. And you know why I did it? And especially in April, is because that little fucker from Australia was gonna show. He already showed the partial on his live stream and the real one. You could see, I think, a leg sticking out, and I was like,
Crikey.
not gonna happen. So at a really fucking odd hour, I sent him to Becky. I said, Becky, forgive me what I'm gonna do, but I'm gonna make this public. She did not respond whatsoever. She did not agree with it. She didn't disagree with it. But I did what I did for a goddamn reason. And that is the reason that motherfucker wanted to release it, because I didn't know if he had the full ones or not. But if somebody needed to make an example of how serious this crime was, it was not gonna be him. Because he already was quoted once in the defense Frank's motion. He was already cited there. And that's what I did. What I did. But the funny thing is that I was not the first one to do exactly the same thing. I only showed it on a live. There's a channel called out there. It's called True Crime Design. I would have showed you what I have in comparison with hers, but she says those are her own depictions that she made. It's not true. Those are an AI generated overlay of the crime scene images that I showed. So you want to scold me? You want to blast me? Go ahead, get in line.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is almost over with. All right, so the law in the United States. I don't know what it's like over in Switzerland, Germany, Netherlands, but in the United States, if you possessed them photos, and the FBI said this numerous times, even on a live, couple lives, that you were breaking the law. So what happened, art of deduction, Frank, when you sent them photos? That's what they're saying. You were sending porn or kitty pedo stuff, even though you were sending them to the family to try and explain what was going on or whatever. But just doing that. See, these people think they're lawyers. They think they're police. They think they're bounty hunters and police and all this, but they're really not. Uh, so they broke the law, you know, and it's sad, but it's true. You know, I don't know if anything will happen to these people, but that's the law. That's the law. It's not like two adults sending photos of themselves back and forth. Oh, baby, I miss you. I've been on the road. Take a look at this, right? It ain't like that. This is something totally different. And they probably did that. There's rumors out there that they were, you know, trading nude photos uh, or asking for nude photos for information of the Delphi case or something. That was crazy. And they weren't even their photos. These are photos that these dudes hacked. These people had nothing to do with Delphi. They might, even if they did have something to do with Delphi, they didn't have the right to steal their personal photos. whether they were naked or their personal conversations that had nothing to do with Delphi. That's why a lot of these people were saying, well, these people are in the porn business and they're connected. Well, then it does make sense that they were hacking accounts and our accounts trying to get photos of men and women. Why? They probably have a site, put them on there, and now you're making money. And now you broke the law again. Why? Well, because I'll be danged if you use my American people's photos to lure girls again, just like Keegan Klein did with Anthony Shots photos. It ain't floating that way. Like I said, America and Indiana, you can hope in one hand and crap in the other. It ain't gonna happen. Hope floats, but so does crap in water. I don't, homie, don't roll that way. So was that what they were doing? Well, it's very possible. These guys claim to be they're the pros, the hackers or whatever. They're people that can manipulate photos. They can create documents in a blink of an eye. So is it possible? Yes, very possible in my opinion. Is that what happened? I have no idea. I don't know. I don't know. But it is possible. All right, we're almost done with this video.
Because the fact remains is what I did was made out of judgment so somebody else would not tell the wrong story of what happened to these girls. And I didn't do it for a scoop, didn't do it for the clicks, because if I were to do it for the clicks, I would have been aware that my channel got taken down. And you can say that I'm a ban evader, but here I am, and trust me, you're not gonna get rid of this channel. Because my last channel most likely did get removed because of those images. And I got the most weirdest fucking reason as to why circumvention. Kind of odd, because I never circumvented anything. But I got removed most likely because they wanted to preserve those images. And I don't consider it as a sacrifice what I did. I was very much aware that I did it. Because you know what? I can have all the subscribers in the world, but are those the ones that truly believe of what I did was wrong or right? Of course not. I have fucking amazing people here that thought that was really weird on what I did and that I made such a huge sacrifice. Well, it's not a sacrifice, but what I did was extremely stupid. And I even talking to my mods right now because they know what I'm talking about. And I do not blame them, but they are still here. Because you know, Delphi is not the only case that I cover, and nor will we. So you can decide to hate or love what I did, but I don't need your acceptance. But I think it's fair that I got a chance to defend myself. Because I did it not only to show people how serious it is what the individual did that they so much profoundly claimed was innocent, and I also did it so everybody would stop talking about it. Because do you think it is by accident that 1 week before the trial or the initial trial in April, my channel got deleted? The defense waived their speedy right so they could already poison the jury pool that was in the first packet because that was their intention. And thank fucking God we got a conviction.
Well, you are
Now,
correct, Debbie.
I could have made this all into a PowerPoint. I could have even made it more solid. But you know what? If you trust me one bit, then you would know that I'm not lying. So you want to scold me? You want to go after me on every single live that I go on that is not even true crime related? That as soon as I mention it with misinformation, Sterling, is that you fucking haunt me? That's ignorance. And that is because you do not like me. I do not know why you do not like me. Because I do not know you. And the thing is that I will keep my peace if you keep yours. But I'm always willing to have a goddamn conversation. But don't poison other people. And that is what you people try to do.
All right, the other guy he's talking about is Sterling, which he didn't come onto the case uh, not until real late in the case. Sterling popped up, right? Which a lot of people say he looks like the dude in the sketch that was released out of the 5 or 6 sketches. I don't know. Coincidence? I don't know. I'm not sure, right? We don't know. We have no idea. But yes, he was another one that was friends with Greeno or knew Greeno or knew these other guys. I don't know what to think about it, but we're on lockdown around here, Mr. Trump. Uh, yeah, what a case, sir. What a case. Just unbelievable, sir. Yeah, we can use all the help. Well, they've been on the news. We've had so much trouble. The police on the news, and then they did a broadcast saying uh, that the militia will help out if the police need help. And well, I'm like, oh, this is crazy. And these dudes even blamed Chicago, right? 4 years into it, they're like, the killer was from Chicago. He came from another. I'm like, oh, you didn't just blame Chicago, Illinois, did you? I mean, you guys already blamed the syndicate, the mafia, the clubs that were down there, the meth rings. Uh, you might as well throw in the kitchen sink, but then you blame Chicago. The guy was from Illinois. And I'm like, no, it can't be. How come the guy from Illinois ain't in jail? Right? Who was the guy? No, it was just it was always someone else. Daniel Nasons. It was this. It was that. It was this. Crazy. Oh, Mr. Trump, this case has got everything. Now, if you ask me, sir, would it make a movie? Oh, it'd make a crazy movie. And they were talking about that of possibly a movie production or something. Greeno doing a documentary, and then there was TV talk. Maybe some TV program was going to pick it up, and the family was holding out for more money. I'm like, what the heck is going on? Yeah, what a case. What a crazy thing. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have no idea if any of this stuff is true because we don't have the evidence in front of our faces. Right? Little Debbie Fox says whoever had those photos are very or in the beginning should be in jail. Hell, the guy down the road looks like the sketch. Uh, yeah, yeah, I don't know. You know, I don't know. Now there was rumors that a lot of these guys boot scoop boogied out of the uh, state, and it's very well. It was a big thing, and people came in from out of country. I don't know. They were talking about some guys that live out of country. The one guy lives in Canada, supposedly, and the other guy he's talking about lives in uh, Australia. Crikey, right? I've watched all their channels and everything. You know, I don't know if any of it's true. I wouldn't doubt it if it was true, right? They, they wanted that reward money. Or they wanted to cover something up. Uh, it was too crazy. And then they shut the door to the public uh, in the courts, and then they refused to release all the footage of that was recorded and the audio, right? The video and audio of everything. And people are saying that the stuff we seen on YouTube was different than what was in the court. So, yeah, it makes sense that something was either they put somebody up to corrupt this case and point you away from what was going on behind the Wizard of Oz balls, right? Yeah, yeah. Like I said, we're on lockdown here. Uh, DEFCON 5, Mr. President. Uh, we can use uh, whatever you can send. Heavy artillery, uh, jets. Send us some of them ones you just can't see. They just fly around. You can't see them. Uh, Send food, sir. We need some food. And boots on the ground. Send them too. I mean, this has gone crazy. And it was all on the news. The news covered it. When I was like, what do you mean the militia? For what? What the heck is going on in Indiana? And supposedly it was some war or something, or something. Biker. I'm not sure. Well, maybe the whole politician thing, Mr. Trump, with old Mike. We're not sure. We don't know. It was just a. I don't know, sir. Just send whatever you can. Uh, Small ground air missiles, whatever. Whatever you got. Grenade launchers, maybe. Uh, Boots on the ground. Couple helicopters, maybe Apaches. Couple maybe Warhogs. Maybe we need a couple Warhogs out here, sir. Uh, Whatever. But let's get to the bottom of this because Delphi's drove everyone nuts. My mental illness has gone way too far. Being attacked and sent it. Here it is. Here it is, folks. The truth is, yes, they were sending trolls. They probably paid people to create all these accounts, and then these people attack you, upset your channel, attack the women. I don't know why they attack these beautiful women in my chat. They're all good women. Uh, but they go after people, and they even go after the men and whatever. Yeah, it's just crazy, sir. Pentagon, Congress, Senate, Mr. President, send what you can. I don't know, maybe uh, small platoon or something. Or, I don't know, maybe a new Ajax or something. I'm not sure. Maybe C-RAM device, maybe. Do something. Somebody do something. They're raping us. If it ain't Delphi, it's Social Security or Medicaid, Medicare or something, sir. And this, I don't know, the KKK. I've just seen someone in my chat say KKK. It could be the KKK. I think Indiana, Southern Indiana, is home of the KKK. I don't know. This is horrible. This is just horrible. I don't know. Let me see what my Debbie Fox is saying. I just got done watching a blanker case, and they showed more transparency on 1-year-old baby than they did these two girls, and it's crazy. Yeah. Well, see, a lot of these people didn't realize. I think some of these people tried to set these other YouTubers up with the photos. They might have used the excuse, oh, well, defense gave it to us, or the other side gave it to us, and you can't get in trouble. Everything's fine. Here, right? I'll give you these photos, $20. And they didn't know the law. They probably didn't know they were stolen. And I think a lot of these people, either they thought they worked for police when they didn't, they thought they worked for a news branch and they didn't, and they thought they worked for a number one A team law defense company and they didn't, and they thought this and that and this and that, and they just didn't. And it's against the law no matter what to send photos like that unless you're an investigator on the case and you're given clearance to have them photos, which only the lawyer would have defense, and then the state. Uh, and once they were sold and leaked out onto the internet, why the internet? That's what I don't understand. There's a connection with these internet dudes because any this high profile of a case, you would have been on the phone with CNN or Dateline. You're going to get paid big. A YouTuber? Why? You have to ask yourself, what was the connection with these YouTubers in this case? Why not Dateline? Why not CNN? Why not NLH or whatever it is? Why not go right to the FBI? Or, well, you can't sell photos of a crime. I don't know. Maybe these people are that dumb. The guy could have went to the FBI and said, "Here, I'm going to sell you these corrupt photos I got from an ongoing case. You guys want to buy them?" They might be that dumb. Then what about them? Right? It's very possible. I'm not sure what's going on here. A lot of crazy stuff. But there you go. That's Frank, Art of Deduction. He changed his name to Let Let Me Be Frank, I believe his channel is. I posted it in my chat. uh, and if he's telling the truth, I don't know. I don't know if he got in trouble for sending the photos and that gave it away that all these people had the photos. The only thing this channel seen was what these YouTubers put out, and the photos I seen were all blurry. You couldn't see nothing. They're like, "That's the girl." I'm like, "Where?" I don't see anything, right? Everyone in chat was asking, "Well, where are they at?" Because it was so pixelated and blurry. It was like it just looks like an oil painting. You can't see anything. Uh, it was crazy, right? Everyone was asking, "Where'd them come from?" Well, they weren't released. How did they get them? You know, it's crazy, crazy stuff. Let me see what Debbie said. Went from people's court to whatever has the highest amount of money. I don't know. I have no idea why they didn't spend part of the 4.5 million on a professional uh, video and audio analyzing guy. I don't know why they didn't spend the money on a professional forensic guy, an autopsy guy. I don't know why they didn't spend money on a professional video enhancing and descrambler and uh, forensic guy that does nothing but watch videos all day and unscrambles them and enhances them. And I don't know why. That if I was running the case, that would have been the first thing I did. Get a hold of Dr. Lee or whatever he was, the guy that's uh, that big forensic scientist dude that we all watch on the internet or something. Get him in here and then get me the best handwriting specialist and get me the best forensic team. I would have dumped a million on that. I mean, if you're going to do it right, I would have had the best of the data guys and come in and read this stuff, right? Here's, we got a 4.5 budget. We're going to get the professionals in here to make sure we know what we're talking about when we go in front of the public, right? You see these phone numbers? This was tracked to this router, to this tower, to this bada bada bing bada bam. Here's some more data we extracted. They deleted it, but we extracted it out of the system, and here it all is. And here's the photo that they showed a bridge guy. That was never bridge guy. It was bridge guy, but in someone's video that they made. And you mean it's not the real video? No, that was just somebody that made, you know. And then I think Reno even came out and said, I put out that's my video of bridge guy walking down the bridge. And I thought something was up because when you took a still photo of the photo they put out, or if you copied the photo that they put out, and if you blew it up and put it through a color analyzer and a spectrum, which you can have all this stuff on Pro Tools. You have all this stuff at your hands in Pro Tools Music Studio. Uh, I zoomed in and it looked like there was a little tiny photo of Anthony Greeno right in the picture. I'm like, there's no way that kid is that crazy. But it looked like to me photo pictures inside of pictures. It was all pixelated and everything. I don't know. These kids are crazy today. They really are. What are we going to do, Mr. Trump? What are we going to do with these guys? Right? I don't know, Mr. Trump. What are we going to do? Well, all we could do is trust our government and lock down, folks. There's a lot of people worried they're going to try and kill people to keep it all quiet and locked down. So hopefully we bring in people to make sure that don't happen. Right? I can tell you what, the list is 5 people that died supposedly from they were YouTubers, Delphi people or whatever. Uh, who knows? I don't know. You folks have a good night. Uh, like I said, on this channel, we have no idea. I'm just voicing my opinion. A lot of people will shut up. Your opinion don't mean nothing. No, it don't. But I live in a country that's freedom of speech. So I can at least voice my opinion. Like I said, we have no idea if any of this stuff is true that they're pumping out to us. We can only connect the dots ourselves and speculation. And my condolences to the family of the girls and the family of the victims that were YouTubers and lost their lives, or uh, you know, something's going on in that case. It's pretty crazy, like a curse. I've been attacked by it too. Now, you folks have a good night. I'll probably delete this photo because I don't want to get struck by people. How do you not get struck? I wish somebody would help me out on this channel. I have no idea. Can you get struck for this? I don't know. Let me see what Debbie said. And they had a long ding. They screwed up. Oh, yeah. Debbie said, and they had how long? 8 years it's been? Well, anything after 3 years, right? Richard Allen went to the police in the beginning of the case. He wasn't picked up until 5 years, 6 years after the murders. So that whole time, it's very possible he was watching all of us, trying to stay one step ahead. We know this much. There was no way he was that dumb to call and say, "Oh yeah, did you guys never checked up on uh, my call or my report? You know that was me on the bridge. You know, I don't know. Is that crazy? Are people that crazy? I don't know. You folks have a good night. God bless. I want to thank the mods for being here and all the great people that stopped in. You're all great gentlemen and women. Be safe. God bless. Um, Lord, do something with these people trespassing on us, please. God bless. Have a good night.